Hey everybody, and welcome to a special new category of videos that we're going to be doing once a year. This is our year in awards.
Yes, this is the first annual 3 count year in awards for 2018. First off, we just want to say Happy New Year. Hope your new year, your 2019 is going pretty good thus far. We are, as of recording, what, 6 days in?
We are 5 going on 6.
5 days, 6 days, 5 going on 6 days in. So, like I said, hopefully everything is going pretty swell for you.
So Dicky, you got any, by the way, he's Dicky, I'm War Machine MJ.
Yeah, where are our manners?
We're the 3 count Mafia. Anyway, you have any New Year's resolutions?
No, I decided not to do no resolutions this year because I don't stick by them anyway.
Yeah, I stopped doing them a while ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yes, we're here today to review the year of wrestling in 2018, the calendar year. Oof.
Yeah. 2017 was pretty amazing. 2018 basically picked up where it left off. And as far as I'm concerned, or as far as we're concerned rather, 2019 is just another stepping stone of greatness so far in the world of professional wrestling, in the sport of professional wrestling.
Yeah, as of recording, Wrestle Kingdom already happened. New Year's Dash happened earlier today.
Yeah. I didn't watch it. From what I've heard, it really wasn't worth watching this year.
I feel like that show is just service.
Well, I guess it's... I've watched it before. It's basically where they just start like new feuds and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's just clean slate.
Yeah, it's basically like the after show or the after party to Wrestle Kingdom, if you will, every single year.
So in actuality, it should be what the first Raw after WrestleMania should be.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, so far 2019 has started off with a bang.
Yes, it definitely has started off with a big bang. As we mentioned, Wrestle Kingdom, and it's a lot more going on as far as various promotions, WWE, Ring of Honor. Speaking of Ring of Honor, just a quick side note, they have partnered with the NWA to bring back the Crockett Cup.
Oh.
I think it's like a tag team tournament that they used to do back in the day. The winners of that tournament will get a tag team title shot at
Supercard.
I think so. One of the big shows they have in Dallas every year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Super Show at Madison Square.
It's one of the shows they're gonna have in Dallas this year. God, I can't think of that name. Anyway, the winner gets a tag team title shot.
Like what tag title?
The Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles.
No. Doesn't the NWA have a tag title?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but anyway, it's one of the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Yeah. I can't think of the name right now.
So instead of looking ahead, let's look back. Let's go ahead and start with our first category, Breakout Star of the Year.
Now, go ahead.
Now, what this category is it's basically the superstar that's basically jumped onto our radar as of this year.
Yeah, basically, it's some stars that have really,
to borrow a phrase from somebody, they made a name for themselves.
Yeah, they definitely have made a name for themselves. They definitely stood out from the pack, if you will. Various guys from various promotions have stood out on their own and basically captivated the audience in their own way. So when I was coming up with these, I came up with 6 nominees. We narrowed them down to 4. So our 4 choices are Elias, Jay White, the Velveteen Dream, and Andrade Cien Almas, with an honorable mention of Buddy Murphy.
The juggernaut of 205 Live.
Yes. Elias, I mean, what more can you say about Elias? Who doesn't want to walk with Elias?
He's quickly gone from one of the most detestable acts to one of the most beloved acts.
Yes.
There was even that moment in Seattle. Was it Seattle?
Yeah, where that segment with him and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, they whipped up the crowd in a frenzy.
Yeah, basically, he was dogging on the city of Seattle for not having a basketball team. If you don't know, they had the Supersonics back in the day. And the crowd just kept booing the shit out of these two.
And Kevin Owens just kept adding salt to it.
Yeah, and he tried to, speak loud, but the crowd was just bearing those boos onto those two, and then poor Leo Rush.
He choked.
Yeah,
And after that, we had Vince in his ear.
Yeah. And then we have Switchblade Jay White. Switchblade Jay White last year made his re-debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and has basically, he's one of those people that has definitely, truly made a name for himself. He is the current leader of the Bullet Club.
He is a former IWGP United States champion.
Yes, he did some work in Ring of Honor in his early days, and this guy he just turned 26 last year.
Yeah, and another feat we have to mention, he just beat Rainmaker Okada.
Yes, they had a really good match at this Wrestle Kingdom this year. And sky's the limit for one Jay White. So we'll see what the future holds in 2019 for Switchblade.
Anyway, next up we have the Velveteen Dream. What more can we say about this extra-ass man?
This guy, for him to be just 23 years old, this guy is a bona fide star. When we tell you this guy is extra, trust us when we tell you he is extra. He is the definition of extra. I mean, it was the last takeover where he came out dressed as Hulk Hogan.
NWO Hulk Hogan.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Before that, of course, there was where he dressed up as Hulk Hogan, Immortal Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
For that, he had some Prince Puma inspired gear.
Yeah.
When he faced Ricochet.
I mean, his outfits really stand out. His character stands out. And like I told these guys before, anybody else doing that character, instant flop. Patrick, or Velveteen Dream, as you call him, that gimmick has just soared through the moon.
Oh,
and I can't wait for him to be on the main roster. I'm not rushing for it, but I'm very skeptical of how they'll book him.
Not to mention, his in-ring ability just keeps growing and growing and growing at substantial paces.
Yes, and again, for him to be 23 years old. Whew.
And let's move on to El Idolo Andrade Cien Almas.
Yes.
Now, 2018 has not always been kind to him, especially moving up to the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, they're actually using him on TV. He did start off the year as NXT champion with that classic match against Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia the night before the Royal Rumble.
And then he had that unmistakable match against Aleister Black.
Yeah, and he had a pretty good match. When he got called up, he had a pretty good match against AJ Styles.
Yeah, and he had a really good match against Mustafa Ali a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, if they continue to book him more on TV, I mean, he could easily be in conversations for the WWE title, the U.S. title, so on and so forth. I mean, Zelina Vega, she has definitely become a very good mouthpiece for him. She's like his Paul Heyman, if you will, the female Paul Heyman too.
I mean,
yeah,
she's re-sparked his character.
Yeah, because when he first came in with the suspenders and the hat, it was just trash.
He was just a playboy.
Yeah, and he kept losing matches till they put them two together. I mean, the magic speaks for itself, and it's played out pretty well.
All right. So now, thinking about it, I wouldn't put I wouldn't nominate. Oh, I wouldn't give it to Almas.
Mm-mm.
He's had a very stop and go into 2018.
Yeah, he's had a subpar year, but like I said, 2019, if WWE plays their cards right, it's going to be a major year for Almas. Jay White, I mean, he's an up-and-coming guy. He's been in business for some years now. Sky's the limit for him. Ain't no telling what he's going to do 2, 3, 5 years from now. Elias, I could give it to him, but I'm not going to give it to him. So Velveteen Dream's the only choice for me.
Yeah. Seconded. So our breakout star of the year, the Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
DREAM, baby.
So congratulations to Velveteen Dream. He is our first ever 3-count breakout star of the year. Moving on, we have Tag Team of the Year. There has been some really good tag team action this year. I mean, for example, MLW, they have the Hart Foundation, the newly formed version of the Hart Foundation with Teddy Hart, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and Brian Pillman Jr. And from what I've heard, they do some really good work. I mean, New Japan, the honorable mention here, Evil and Sonata, now two-time, as of recording, IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Those two are just amazing with themselves. The Briscoes, you got the Young Bucks, you got the Usos, New Day. I could go on and on and on with great tag team action this year.
Oh yeah. Let's start with our nominees. The first nominee, the Young Bucks. They have had a banner year after they hung up their jerseys and graduated from the junior tag team division to the heavyweight tag team division, where they've had great matches against Evil and Sonata, the Golden Lovers, Gorillas of Destiny.
Who else? They've had they've had some good matches. Oh, the Briscoes, SCU.
SCU.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, they didn't just stop at New Japan. They went and took over Ring of Honor, and not to mention they also funded their very first pay-per-view.
All In. Yes, All In was excuse me, it definitely was a success. I mean, for them to sell out a 10,000 seat building in under 30 minutes really says a lot.
Oh yeah.
And it really says that there is an alternative outside of the bubble known as the WWE.
The Gorillas of Destiny, they just dethroned the Young Bucks a couple weeks back at World Tag League.
I think it was before World Tag League. Okay. But they are four-time IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. I mean, these two have had some wars with the Young Bucks, with the Briscoes in the past. I mean, Evil and Sonata, so on and so forth. These two are definitely one of the best tag teams in New Japan, not just New Japan, in the world. So Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, they've been doing their thing for quite some time now.
Now with me, they lose a couple of points because we never got the big Bullet Club blow-off.
Yeah. I mean, the Bullet Club blow-off, you know, it was very intriguing for what it was, but like you said, and like many others have said, there was really no payoff to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa for it, but that kind of gets counted against them.
Yeah.
Next up, we have The Bar. We have dubbed them one of the three best tag teams in the WWE's main roster.
Pretty much. It's pretty much New Day, Usos, Bar. And, you know, I was very skeptical with Sheamus and Cesaro as this tag team. I thought it was just a makeshift transitional tag team, but they've proven that they can go. I mean, they're 5-time tag team champions. They are the current SmackDown tag team champions, and they can do no wrong.
And they are over as hell.
Yes, and it's true to what they say. They don't set the bar.
They is bar.
Right.
Now, on the flip side of that, we also have the Usos nominated.
Yes, the Usos, they are also 5-time tag team champions, and ever since they've switched up their gimmick, they have just been on a roll. I mean, do we need to bring up that Hell in a Cell match they had against New Day?
Not just Hell in a Cell. Any match against New Day or Bar, they go in there and tear it up.
I mean, I feel bad for some of the up-and-coming tag teams that get called up to the main roster because they are going to have trouble on their hands, and they're going to have big shoes to fill because Jimmy and Jay, they have proven once you strip them of the dancing gimmick and the, you know, tribal dancing, with all due respect, they can really go out there, switch it up, switch their character up, and they can go at it with anybody.
Yeah, they've never had a bad match. They might have some slow matches, but I've never seen a bad match out of the Usos since they've changed.
Yes. So with that being said, the Usos, well, I'll start with God. As you mentioned, the payoff to the Bullet Club, that gets counted against them, so they're not winning it. The Bar, they've had a strong 2018.
I think what really kills their momentum was not just having Big Show in their corner, but, and everybody's going to agree with me, Survivor Series.
Yeah, you know what? I'm definitely counting that against them because that match with AOP, I was really looking forward to that match, and it just turned out to be one shit fest, especially with Drake Maverick peeing on himself.
And Enzo and Mori are interrupting it.
And hijacking the show. Did you see what he said about that? Talking about he wanted to outsmart Vince McMahon and play him at his own game.
Yeah,
because he knew he would get a reaction.
Yeah, but instead he got tackled by... Anyway, no, they were talking about the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, all that outsmarting did was get him tackled by the same security lady that tackled Gronk.
Yeah. So.
And he got all of his Staples Center privileges revoked.
Yeah. So kudos to you. Anyway, the Usos. I mean, what can we count against the Usos?
The pre-show to Survivor Series.
Yeah, even though they did win, they weren't on the main card.
They weren't supposed to win that match.
Yeah, because that's why SmackDown's win didn't count. So I guess we could. Yeah.
So our 2018 Tag Team of the Year is
the Young Bucks.
They don't just set the business; they kill it.
Yes, and they have killed it in a good way, despite what you say.
Merch, ticket sales, being the elite.
Yes.
You name it, they've killed it.
Oh, all elite wrestling?
All elite.
Yes.
Could be brand of the year for 2019. Never know.
Stay tuned.
Anyway,
we have male superstar of the year.
Now, there have been a lot of good talents. Some on the main roster. Most in NXT, but a majority of them come from the independents.
Yeah.
We could only squeeze 4 on here, and it just breaks our heart.
Yeah, because, I mean, you got guys like Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, The Miz,
Okada,
Naito. I mean, like we said, we can
the Chris fucking Jericho.
I mean, let's talk about him for a minute, and then we'll move on. For this guy to be in the business almost 30 years and still go like he's been in the business 10, that says a lot.
I mean, he's dialed back his moveset, but he can still go.
And he's reinvented himself every time he's come back. I mean, look at the work he's doing in New Japan right now.
He's the only older talent that I would never consider nostalgia.
No.
Because this man even had his own freaking cruise.
Yes. I mean, he's got his own cruise. He's got his own podcast. He's a New York Times bestseller. He's got his own band. What more can this guy not do, for God's sakes?
In fact, not just his own cruise. He's going to make that an annual thing.
Yes. He just announced that Cruise of Jericho 2 is coming.
I would love to go, but I don't do cruises.
No. I've never been on a cruise, so I can't say.
Me neither. I've never been.
Anyway, the nominees for male Superstar of the Year, with an honorable mention of Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, or as they called him, Mustafa with the ER. Anyway, we have Seth freaking Rollins, Grand Slam Rollins, Mr. Burn It Down, Adam Cole, baby. We're not going to do the entrance because people are sleeping.
Yeah.
Pentagon Jr., and current Ring of Honor World Champion Jay Lethal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump into Seth Rollins. Other than the fact that he puts on stellar performances with the exception of TLC, but that
wasn't his fault.
That was... it's hard to put the blame on anyone for that because, you know, he was sandwiched between good matches or whoever scripted the match scripted it wrong.
Yeah, or the placement of the match and the way that the match felt really
detracted.
Yeah, it really detracted it.
But other than that, he's put on stellar performances. Hell, he even went for over an hour. He broke a long-standing record.
Yes, and that gauntlet match, oh my God, I literally forgot about that match happened in 2018. I mean, he pinned Roman Reigns and John Cena in that match. That says a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Then he had that great match at WrestleMania with Finn Balor and The Miz to win the Intercontinental title. He started off SummerSlam against Dolph Ziggler, which was an incredible ass match.
Yeah. He's definitely the workhorse of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, he's pretty much put the brand and the company itself on his back, and that's why he burnt it down.
Now, what also detracts from him is his latest feud with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean, we were really expecting a blood feud, and it's just like, yeah, great.
So, sorry, Seth.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, baby. Started the year off as one of the hottest things in NXT.
Yeah.
Then shortly afterwards became the first ever North American champion.
The inaugural champion. I saw a clip where they were in Atlanta for an NXT house show. He faced Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle, yeah.
And as soon as he came out, the crowd just went crazy. Of course, they did the entrance to Adam Cole, baby.
And you know what was even more to his credit? When they had night two of the UK tourney, and he went out there to defend his North American title against Wolfgang. He was supposed to be the heel, but yet the crowd went ballistic for him.
Yes, and even after the match, they started chanting Adam Cole, and of course he had to do his entrance because the crowd can't get enough of one Adam Cole, because that, my friends, is undisputed. Pentagon Jr. He had a pretty big year. Former Impact World Champion. One half of the MLW World Tag Team Champions with his brother Phoenix right now.
Former Lucha Underground champion.
Yes. How many times has he won that? What, twice?
No, I think it's just once.
Okay.
Anyway, he put on a killer match against Kenny Omega at All In.
Yes. I mean, this guy has been all over the place.
Oh, who could forget his killer feud against OVE?
Oh my God. I forgot about that. He had that killer match with Sami Callihan at Slammiversary, especially when they showed that clip of him doing the Fear Factor on those chairs.
Yeah.
And the fact that Sami Callihan, you know what? I should have put him on here.
You should have.
You know what? I'll give him an honorable mention.
Yeah, Sami
because
Callihan.
He had one hell of a year. The fact that he kicked out of that Fear Factor, it was just like, holy shit. But, you know, both those guys had a good year. Pentagon, he's on a roll to have a big 2019. And then we have Jay Lethal, the current Ring of Honor World Champion.
What's this, reign number 3?
Two.
Wow, I thought he had one more reign under his belt.
No, Adam Cole's the only 3-time champion.
Okay.
So, kudos to that.
Jay Lethal's been the world champion since
the 30th of June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's almost a year into his second title reign. But, I mean, Jay Lethal, he's pretty much the workhorse of Ring of Honor. He is the franchise of that company. This guy can do no wrong.
He even put on at times funny, but at times a really good match against Flip Gordon at All In.
Yes, he did. He had one hell of a match against Cody at Final Battle, the last pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. But this guy, he can put on a good match with anybody, and he's one of the best wrestlers that we have ever seen in professional wrestling.
Yeah. So, Seth Rollins, he gets an out for me because he had a lot going against him towards the end of the year.
Yeah, he did. Pentagon, I would give it to him, but he's maybe next year.
Jay Lethal, I haven't seen enough of his work this past year to make an accurate assessment.
Yeah, it's the same with me. I mean, like I said, as far as I know, he's the current world champion. His first title defense this month, will be against Dalton Castle. And a lot of people are coming for him and that championship. So, I really can't give it to him. So, there's no choice but to give him to him, Adam Cole, baby.
2018 Superstar of the Year, Adam Cole, baby.
And like he said on NXT a few weeks ago, 2019 will be the year of the Undisputed because all 4 members will be draped in gold. They're going to be dripping that sauce with that gold.
Now, our next category is going to be the flip side of the first category, of the previous category, Female Superstar of the Year.
Now, if you look at the broad aspect of female wrestling, it is definitely better than what it used to be. It's definitely better than what it used to be in the past. I mean, you've had some incredible matches, not only in WWE, not only in NXT. Impact, Ring of Honor has their women's division now. I mean, you look elsewhere overseas with Shimmer, Women of Wrestling,
Stardom.
Stardom, Stargate. I think that's the name of the promotion. Defiant.
Defiant, yeah.
So on and so forth. I mean, there's some really great women's wrestling all over the world. Honorable mention goes to Ember Moon.
Yeah. Because she's had a very, very rocky 2018.
Yeah.
She started the year off as NXT Women's Champion, and now she's just muddling around on the Raw division.
Yeah, pretty much having the same matches with, as Malcolm called her, Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
And Tamina.
And the Job Squad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, but our first nominee, all we need to say is the man.
Yeah. When we say the man, you know who we're talking about. Sexalicious Becky Lynch.
My future ex-wife.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we're just going to leave it at the man.
Yeah. We'll move on to Tessa Blanchard, the current Impact Knockouts champion. She has a match at their upcoming pay-per-view against Taya Valkyrie, who we'll talk about a little later, for the Knockouts championship, and she's had one hell of a feud with Taya. Gail Kim will serve as the special guest referee.
Yeah.
Tessa, I've seen bits and pieces of Tessa. I've seen matches here and there, and she's pretty decent in the ring. Yeah. I mean, second generation superstar to Tully Blanchard, and she can carry her own. She can definitely carry her weight in the ring. So, other than that, she stood out from her father's footsteps and made a name for herself in the business. Then we have Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
You know, thinking about it, we should put Rowdy Ronda Rousey on Breakout Star of the Year.
Yeah.
Because she made her debut this past year.
Yeah. And she impressed the hell out of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I had serious doubts against her. Like, I don't want to see her, get catapulted straight to the title scene. I don't think she's going to be that good.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I was wrong.
Yeah, I think everybody was wrong, being that she came from the UFC, and wrestling's pretty much been in her blood her whole life. And I feel like WWE is kind of taking their time with her.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where, oh, she's got a big name and she's got a big platform, let's just catapult her straight to the moon. It's just like, okay, she's got a big name, we'll bring her in, but we got to take our time with her. And they've done a pretty good job with that.
Oh, yeah. She may be bad on the mic, which is a tiny detractor, but she has improved by leaps and bounds in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's even comfortable enough to do a crossbody from the top rope.
Yeah. And then you have Taya Valkyrie.
Mrs. Johnny Mundo / Impact / wherever promotion he goes.
Yeah. She's another person that can hold her own in the ring. I mean, she's not one of those people like, oh, because I'm married to such and such, that's going to hinder me from being what I can be in the ring. No, it's basically like that doesn't even matter because, she's got a nice size to her. She's got a nice moveset.
I believe she's been trained by Lance Storm.
Yeah, she was trained by Lance Storm, so that really says something there.
Yeah.
And I think she's from Canada also.
Yeah, she is from Canada. I know that one.
Yeah, so she's had a pretty big year as well. As I mentioned, she's taking on Tessa Blanchard at Impact Homecoming for the Knockouts Championship, so that should be a really good match.
Now, the detractors I have here, I haven't seen enough of Tessa and Taya outside of Impact and Lucha Underground respectively to make an accurate decision.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same with me. I barely just started back watching Impact, so those are my negatives towards those two.
And we're about to stop watching Impact because it's going to jump to a channel we've never even heard of.
Don't even get me started.
Anyway, but it comes down to the man and Ronda Rousey.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I mean, like we said, she came in, she made her debut at the Royal Rumble last year to a remarkable pop. The crowd went crazy. We get to WrestleMania, she had that tag match with Triple H and Stephanie, teaming up with Kurt Angle, and she impressed the fuck out of everybody.
And she picked up her first title at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I thought it was SummerSlam.
No, it was Money in the Bank because Alexa Bliss cashed in the same night. Wait, no. Nia Jax had the belt. My bad. She picked it up at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
You're right.
because Alexa was champion.
Yeah, and oh god, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, her title reign hasn't been great.
No. It's just I was thinking about her feud with Alexa.
Who, Nia Jax?
No,
Ronda?
Ronda.
Yeah, that's another detractor for me.
That's a big detractor.
Besides her mic skills, except when she slammed Nikki Bella.
Okay, her mic skills was a tiny mark against her. It wasn't going to be nothing but, surface level scuff. This was just cut deep because they essentially had her toying around with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that in the end she was going to take the title off Alexa. So, that's a negative for me. But then you got Becky. They basically floundered around with her until they actually decided to make her worth interesting. Not that she's not interesting anyway.
They pulled the trigger at pay-per-view before SummerSlam. Because they had that triple threat.
It was SummerSlam.
It was SummerSlam?
Because it was the triple threat with Charlotte, Carmella, and Becky basically cold-cocked Charlotte.
Then what pay-per-view did she pick up the belt from?
Evolution.
No. She walked into Evolution as champion. Did she?
I think she won at Evolution.
God, I can't remember. Either way, she Becky Lynch started the year off bad, and she just shot to the moon ever since she turned on Charlotte.
Yeah, and pretty much it's been the knob has basically been broke when it comes to the man, and they have really done a great job. Even though they tried to get her booed,
it just did not work.
It did not work. So we got to give it to the man.
The man.
So congratulations to the man for winning Female Superstar of the Year. Brand of the Year.
There's not a whole lot of brands that we have actually watched that could hold a candle with the others.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have other alternatives outside of WWE because WWE, we keep mentioning it a lot because it's the big brand that is normally what we see on TV or the network.
It's easily accessible.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you've had some great stuff from different brands. I mean,
you have Defiant, who just relaunched their weekly series. You've got MLW that recently opened their doors back up.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago.
There's Progress, there's Rev Pro, and they're about to have a big year, especially with the return of Pac.
Yeah, I mean, even in Mexico, you got CMLL, you got AAA, you've got All Japan Pro Wrestling. They're doing their thing. New Japan
Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yes, I mean it's a lot, and I thought about this earlier. It's a lot of alternatives outside of WWE. WWE's getting a lot of complaints about their product, but if you want something outside of that bubble, go check out, like we said, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, All Japan,
Defiant,
Lucha Underground, whenever it comes back.
I mean, for those of you with Netflix, there's at least 2 seasons of Lucha Underground on there.
Yeah. So that being said, our 4 nominees are NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Lucha Underground, and Impact Wrestling.
Now, when we did these on the other channel, we split up Raw and SmackDown since we barely watched all the other stuff. But now we just cobbled them together, and the main roster did not make the cut.
No. I mean, they've had some hit and misses, but they didn't make the cut.
Like, compared to all the other stuff, it's just been craptastic. SmackDown, while we say it's great, Raw holds back the majority of the main roster.
Yeah. Ring of Honor, I mean, they're getting ready to have their big MSG show in a couple months. I haven't watched much of their product. The only time I really watch Ring of Honor is
if they've got a good enough pay-per-view.
Yeah, pay-per-view. I've watched their TV shows here and there. But for the most part, I hear through word of mouth what's going on right now. So,
Yeah.
that's my detractor as far as Ring of Honor goes. But
Now,
honorable mention goes to MLW.
now NXT has had its banner year for 2018.
Whew.
I mean, they just announced their North American title. We had the return of War Games.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've had a lot of prolific faces pop in through NXT.
I mean, even some of the current faces and new faces, we've had Matt Riddle come in,
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, Mia Yim.
Donovan Dijakovic.
Oh my God, that name. Yeah, we've had a lot of new faces pop up on the show. I mean, we've had some incredible matches, as you mentioned, the North American ladder match.
For the first time in, was it 7?
I think so.
Yeah, for the first time in 7 years, WWE got not just one 5-star match from Dave Meltzer, but 2. Actually, no. I think it was 3. I think the North American ladder match got 5 stars as well.
I think so. I know Gargano almost got 5 stars.
Yeah, Gargano Ciampa got 5 stars.
I think the first one got 5 stars.
Yeah, first one got 5 stars.
Yeah.
Because I know Johnny Wrestling is now Johnny 10 stars.
Yeah. Or Johnny Badass.
Johnny Badass.
So yeah, NXT has definitely had one of its best years for the short time it's been around. New Japan Pro Wrestling, I mean, what more can you say about New Japan? It was announced, I think during Wrestle Kingdom, they're going to start the G1 Climax here in America at the American Airlines Center.
Yeah, they're trying for their American takeover.
They're going to have shows in Charlotte, I think Washington, D.C. They're all over the place, of course. California, so they're really trying to expand the market. They even got a dojo in LA, so they're really trying to expand the market as far as America goes.
Now you look at what they've done this year. Kenny Omega finally getting the new IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Chris freaking Jericho getting the IC title. They minted the United States title early 2017. Or no, mid 2017.
Yeah.
When they did their
G1 special.
Yeah, Long Beach special. There we go. God, what else?
They introduced their new president. Yeah,
I've heard a lot of misleading rumors on it.
Yeah, he's okay, but overall, great product from New Japan. I mean, they've got a lot of spectacular talent. They've had a lot of great matches, a lot of great shows. So,
yeah.
Lucha Underground, we just wrapped up season 4. Possibly we're getting season 5.
Possibly.
So,
definitely a damn good season for Lucha Underground.
yes, indeed.
Who could forget Marty the Moth shocking the world, picking up not just the Lucha Underground title, but also the
Gift of the Gods.
Gift of the Gods. And you know what? You are right. Pentagon is a 2-time Lucha Underground champion.
Really?
Because he picked up the belt from Marty the Moth at Ultima Lucha.
Yeah.
And then he lost it to Jake Strong.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I completely glossed over that.
Yeah. And then Impact Wrestling, they've been trying to wash off the stench of what was TNA. They're getting ready to celebrate Homecoming, their upcoming pay-per-view in Nashville.
And what helped their upturn was they got damn it.
They got Don Callis.
Don Callis and Scott D'Amore.
Yeah. They're helping behind the scenes. Don Callis, he's also on commentary with Josh Matthews, and they're a really good tandem.
Have you come around on Josh Matthews?
No, but I like his commentary.
You're slowly getting there?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm not a fan of his. It's better than what he was doing with the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
Because those two really did not... They were just all over the place. But it's like Don Callis and Josh Matthews, they really make a good team. I mean, they've had some good stuff, despite going to another channel that we don't know shit about.
But also behind the scenes, they've expanded their platform. I've seen where they've streamed on Twitch.
Yeah.
They have their own video on demand service.
Yeah.
They've been branching out to not just New Japan or AAA or something like that. They've been going to all these minor league indie brands and working with them.
Yeah, like Evolve and
I wouldn't count Evolve as minor league, like stuff you've never heard of before.
yeah. I mean, going back to the Twitch stuff, they do like various like little house shows, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've heard things about them, but you know, from what I've seen, Impact. I mean, they've got the world champ Johnny Impact. Austin Aries came back. Of course, Eli Drake. They've got LAX. I mean, they've got some good talent all around the board as far as men and women go.
And they really picked themselves back up in a hurry after Slammiversary.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because that was the big show that everybody would not stop talking about.
Yes. And even Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you don't include Austin Aries as a little stunt.
Yeah. Anyway, Impact Wrestling, like I said, as much as I've seen, they've had some good stuff, but I mean, the fact that they keep bouncing from network to network to network, that just really throws me off.
That's a big, big oof against them.
Yeah, Lucha Underground, I mean,
It felt like we flew through that season. Sure, it was good, but it felt like we flew through it.
yeah. And it's like they were just going fast pace.
Yeah.
But what's one negative with Lucha Underground for you?
This season felt short. That's my only negative.
Yeah. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like we said, good product, good talent. I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen, some of the shows are basically like house shows, but I don't know. I can't really think of a negative with New Japan.
I can't either. Oh, that's going to be hard.
Yeah. I mean, their president, I've somewhat heard not some good things about him, but...
Well, I mean, I've heard rumors that were true. I've heard rumors that sounded true, but were later debunked. Like, you know, they're changing the guard. They're pissing everybody off in the back.
Yeah.
I've heard people come out and debunk that, so it's really confusing on whether or not it's true.
Yeah. So I'll end up giving it to NXT.
You know what? Give it to both of them. Because neither of them had not one negative that I can think of.
Huh. So we'll give them co-brand of the year.
Co-brands of the year, New Japan and NXT.
Yeah, because both brands have just turned it up in 2018.
Especially NXT. They keep rising like a phoenix. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
Anyway, we'll move on to Cowboy. Wow.
Cowboy.
Yeah. Anyway, pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah. Pay-per-view of the year, it's really hard because there's some you forget about and some you're just like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah, and then there's been some pay-per-views where it's just like, okay, let's get it over with, but then you watch it and it's just like, wow, it really turned out to be what I didn't expect. I think Evolution.
Yeah, Evolution, as much as they just overblew it and as fact as they blew past it because they were promoting Super Showdown and Crown Jewel,
Which we didn't care about.
it was actually pretty good.
You know what? I give them props because it's just like they brought in Trish and Lita, and it really didn't help, as you can see. But at the end of the day, they really made that pay-per-view into something spectacular, and we were just astounded by it. We were
Becky and Charlotte
Oh.
made that pay-per-view. Oh, that jackknife from the top rope. Holy shit.
I gotta say, as much as I wasn't intrigued, as much as I wasn't interested with Ronda and Nikki Bella, they had a good match.
Yeah, they had a decent match.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Nikki Bella, she tried.
I don't think that should have closed out the show, though.
No,
Anyway, but we have one honorable mention, but I'm going to go ahead and up it to 3. Because, like we said, Evolution.
mm-hmm.
I'd put that on there. Slammiversary.
Yes.
That was the big turnaround for Impact this past year.
Yep.
And then, number 3, Progress. Hello, Wembley.
Oh my god. Hello Wembley from top to bottom was just
So good.
bonkers.
Especially those tables. Anyway,
Those damn tables.
for those of you who weren't aware about Hello Wembley. It was Progress's big show. They sold out. Damn it! I think they sold out the O2.
I think so.
They sold out one of the biggest venues
The
in.
Wembley Arena.
Yeah, it was Wembley. Why the fuck did I miss that? Anyway,
Yeah.
they sold out Wembley, which that's unheard of for an indie company, and this was mere mere days after All In sold out Chicago.
Yes. And like I said, besides those damn tables, Hello Wembley,
Oh,
every match was just, especially that damn tag team match.
the Thunder Bastards match,
The grudge match with Jimmy Havoc and
Paul Robinson, Pete Dunne, and Ilya Dragunov. Oh, so good.
it was.
Anyway, but our nominees are Wrestle Kingdom 12, NXT TakeOver Nolans and Philadelphia, and of course, All In.
All these pay-per-views are great. My only knock with Wrestle Kingdom 12, there
The
were
main
two
event.
matches that I was looking forward to, but they ended up being eh.
Wait, what was the other one that was?
The two matches I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Jay White versus Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Because it was just,
Slow.
it was slow, and I think Tanahashi was Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this match was,
And the big knock Wrestle Kingdom gets from me was the main event.
it was good, but it was boring. Because like when I watched the first time, I fell asleep, and then I had to go back and rewatch the main event.
Not to mention the crowd just were exhausted
They were.
because Kenny and Jericho tore it up.
Oh my god.
Uh,
It reminded me of Triple H and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 25.
Yeah, or Triple H, Jericho at WrestleMania 18.
Yeah. I guess it's like with every Triple H match, it's just like, eh.
I wouldn't say every, but it's just.
Remember when he had that match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 29, and like no one cared?
Yeah,
The crowd was like mostly silent through the match.
it's just he's had bad luck with those matches.
Yeah.
He'll pull some good ones out, but other than that, it's just.
Yeah.
Anyway, Takeover Nolans, where we minted the first ever North American champion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how they kicked off the show.
And I tell you what, that match really turned it up. I mean, for it to start off the show, it really just had us on the edge of our seats.
I'm trying to remember, what was the main event to Nolans?
I think it was Almas versus Aleister Black for the NXT Championship.
No. Because that happened after Gargano faced Almas.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. Anyway, I remember it being an alright match.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Nolans was a good card.
Or was it Lars Sullivan versus Aleister Black with that big black mass whiff?
That was when Aleister Black was NXT champion.
Yeah.
No, this was before. No, McIntyre Almas.
McIntyre Almas.
That's where Almas picked up the belt.
Oh, that's where where he got hurt.
Yeah, where he tore his shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good match.
That was.
Despite the clear size difference. Oh, they tore it up.
Yeah.
Then we had Takeover of Philly just a couple of months later. That one had a killer main event. Of course, that was the first 5-star match in 7 years.
That match from top to bottom really told a story, and it was just like, holy shit, what the fuck am I watching?
The whole card was great, top to bottom.
Yes. And then we have All In. Of course, this is where Cody became NWA World Champion, the first father-son duo to win the NWA World title. The only father-son duo to do that.
Yeah, it's just the biggest independent wrestling pay-per-view of all time. Not to mention, it sold out in under 30 minutes.
Yes. And then they announced All In 2, Double or Nothing. So,
Actually, All Elite Wrestling presents All In 2, Double or Nothing.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that turns out. But I don't know about you, but I'm gonna give it to All In.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom had that big knock where its main event was boring. Um, Takeover Philly and New Orleans, they tried their best. There's no knock against it, but it's just All In was top to bottom a damn good card. Because who could forget Dick Druids? Anyway, let's move on to one
I don't
we.
even want to talk about that.
Let's move on to one that category we never had any trouble doing, and that's comeback of the year.
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan.
Now, if you remember, Daniel Bryan had to retire due to concussion issues throughout his career. He came back at WrestleMania, and of course,
No, he came back on an episode of SmackDown, and the whole crowd just erupted as soon as he said, "I'm back."
oh yeah, I mean,
Oh, it's just I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm starting to tear up. It
yeah,
was
I
so
mean,
good.
it was shocking because I don't think anybody expected it. ESPN reported it, WWE reported on their website, and I, as well as this guy and many other wrestling fans, were freaking. We were so happy. I got goosebumps just reading the report that he was back. And then WrestleMania, he had that match with Shane McMahon against KO and Sami Zayn. And of course, the crowd was just yesing the fuck out of the Superdome in New Orleans.
Now, 2018 has not been too kind to Daniel Bryan because he did have that god awful feud with Big Cass. Can we forget about Big Cass? He had a what other feud? He had a bad blow off to his feud against the Miz.
I wouldn't say bad. They just didn't. It wasn't a real payoff to that.
They didn't live up to expectations.
Yeah.
Especially when they got the wives involved.
Yeah, that just really killed.
But then he made comeback number 2, straight from the bottom, WWE champion.
And he turned heel on top of that.
And he put on another. Well, he put on the second match Brock Lesnar actually gave a damn about.
Yeah, that I actually liked that because I thought it was just gonna be like, okay, they're really just gonna squash Daniel Bryan like that till he started making that comeback.
It was cringy at first, like how Daniel Bryan kept getting thrown around like that.
Yeah, and then he, like I said, tried to make the comeback, and it really turned out to be a good match.
Yeah, and they told a great story the following Tuesday where Daniel Bryan said, "Yeah, I got beat, but Brock Lesnar helped beat the weakness out of me."
Yeah. Since then, he's been on a tear as what we call the crazy vegan.
Yeah.
Crazy hippie.
Crazy hippie.
Yeah. So Daniel Bryan, automatic comeback of the year with honorable mentions of Teddy Hart and PCO. Now,
PCO.
PCO, he used to be one of the Quebecers back in the day in the WWF.
Oh.
I think he also went by the name of John Pierre Lafitte or something like that.
Okay.
He's like in his 50s, so he's made a comeback. He's currently signed with Ring of Honor.
Wow, really?
Yes, and he's part of Villain Enterprises with Marty Scurll.
Okay.
And then Teddy Hart, as I mentioned, 1/3 of the newly formed Hart Foundation, the current MLW middleweight champion. So he's had some trouble throughout his career, but he's made a strong comeback. So
yeah, Daniel Bryan was a lock because he beat he beat the end of his career.
yeah, pretty much.
Maybe next year, Takahashi might be in the running,
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping he comes back.
or Roman Reigns.
Yes, he will definitely get a big babyface pop when he comes back. Excuse me. Anyway, faction of the year.
Now, despite how this year and tail end of last year, we did not put the Shield on here.
No, because the Shield was kind of bumpy.
Especially with Happy to Be Here Dad Kurt Angle.
Hey guys, I'm here with my kids. I'm just happy to be here. I want to be the cool dad.
And Seth and Dean were just looking intense as fuck while he's just, "Hey guys, happy to be here."
Yeah.
Anyway,
our nominees for faction of the year go to,
Shock the System.
of course, Automatic Lock.
And the New Day.
Yep. Then we have the Elite. The Elite.
And who can forget LIJ?
Los Inglenos de Japón. Suck it. Anyway,
Yes, but I can put the accent behind it. Los Ingranables de Japón.
Honorable mention goes to Worldwide Underground from Lucha Underground. Yes, because
Alright.
of course they want to take everybody to Slam Town.
Keep prattling. I'll be right back.
Undisputed Era. I mean, these guys have done no wrong. They've had one hell of a year in NXT, one hell of a year in the world of professional wrestling.
They were North American champion,
Two-time tag team champion.
and the Dusty Rhodes Classic winners.
Yeah, the Undisputed Era as far as tag team championships are the second tag team to win those belts twice, along with the Revival. LIJ, Takahashi went down. We saw a sixth member be introduced as far as Shingo Takagi. And this is my first time watching him. This dude is pretty impressive.
Oh, most definitely.
The New Day, what more can you say about the New Day? These guys have been tearing it up together for the last 4 or 5 years and still can do no wrong. The Elite, of course, we keep mentioning All Elite Wrestling. They broke away from the Bullet Club. If you watch their YouTube channel, Being the Elite, you see what we're talking about. I'm going to have to give it to the Undisputed Era. What do you say?
Oh, hang on. I'm trying to find my extension cord because the camera's dying.
Oh. But anyway, my only knock on LIJ, of course, Takahashi being injured. So, hopefully he can make a big comeback sooner or later. Then we have the New Day. They, I wouldn't say, have been hogging up the tag team scene, but
They've helped elevate it along with the Bar and the Usos.
yes,
They're the third men in the greatest tag team on the main roster debacle that we've been going on about.
yeah, and the Elite. My big knock on them, of course, is that Bullet Club payoff.
Yeah. With the Elite, it's just they have definitely made a brand for themselves. I mean, you look at its members and all the belts they have racked up this past year.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell me that's charging. Anyway, okay, there we go. It should be charging now.
Okay.
Anyway, you look at all the members they've had, all the belts they've racked up. I mean, Marty Scurll came into 2018 as junior heavyweight champion. He's currently in line to face Jay Lethal. No, he faced Jay Lethal and lost, didn't he?
Yeah, he's currently in line to face Jay Lethal.
Oh, he
because he beat
faced
Christopher Daniels at Final Battle.
Okay.
No, shit. Christopher Daniels beat Marty Scurll. My bad.
I thought Marty Scurll won.
No.
Oh.
Christopher Daniels won.
Well, he was in line to face Jay Lethal.
Yeah, because he put his #1 contendership on the
Yeah.
line.
Hangman Page, I'm pretty sure he's racked up titles.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks, we've said about him back at Tag Team of the Year.
Cody, he's done his thing. Of course, former U.S. champion, former NWA World Champion.
Help funded All In.
Yes.
Then you got Kenny Omega, who, as of this recording, is the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of rumors of where he's going to go. Is he going to stay with New Japan? Is he going to go? Is he going to sign with All Elite? Is he going to WWE? So.
Yeah. So,
the best bout machine in the world.
And LIJ. Oh, wait, we talked about them already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I talked about Takahashi being injured. How that's...
Yeah. Well, the reason why I wanted to put him on this list was because you look at the other factions in New Japan, because they're faction heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Between Chaos, Bullet Club, Taguchi Japan, and Suzuki-gun.
Yeah.
LIJ is the only one not involved with any strife, and they have had the most successful year.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Evil and Sonata, tag champs. Naito just picked up Intercontinental title.
Yeah, and Bushi and Tagagi are the junior heavyweight tag team champions. So LIJ's running heavy with the gold right now.
Oh, And Takahashi is undefeated junior heavyweight champion.
Yeah, even though he had to relinquish the title due to injury.
But he still has not been beaten.
Facts.
Bullet Club has been locked in strife.
Yeah.
They just, there's no calmness there. It's all, there's not even success.
Yeah.
Like, only thing is just Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa picking up belts.
Yeah.
Um,
And Jay White and Gate and
yeah, I was about to
Gato.
get that because Chaos just got dumped on its head by Gato and Jay White.
Yeah. So basically, we'll have to give it to the Undisputed Era because they've had one hell of a year.
They've shocked the system.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in that War Games match.
Oh, Jesus. So, congratulations to the Undisputed Era for 3-count Faction of the Year, Feud of the Year. Now, there have been some tremendous feuds this year. I mean, if you look across the spectrum, even in WWE, NXT, Impact, so on and so forth, there have been some great feuds depending on what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, I decided to add Eddie Edwards versus Moose.
I would have had Eddie Edwards, Sammy Callahan.
Yeah.
Because this was triggered crazy Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, and that was where Eddie Edwards almost had his eye smashed in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But
it's been good stuff.
It was, but the reason I brought this up because they're playing where these two were friends and Moose turned on him and stuff like that.
See,
it's the typical, we were best friends.
See, that would have made sense, but we already have that on here.
Well, yeah.
Gargano versus Ciampa.
Well, yeah, that is true.
But hey, you made the list. I can only voice my opinions.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, let's go on to our nominees. As I mentioned, Gargano, Ciampa, a feud that is just about ran an entire. Wait, actually, it did run an entire year.
Yeah. They had, 3 matches?
3 matches, and it started after DIY lost the belts to Authors of Pain.
Mm-hmm. And if you remember at TakeOver Chicago, that's when Ciampa turned on Gargano. In
one of the best moments of NXT history.
I mean, if you could compare this feud to any other feud, I'd say Punk and Cena, Jericho, Michaels, Cena, Edge. I would say Cena, Orton, but they watered the fuck out of that rivalry.
The most poignant rivalry to compare this to, Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
I was just going to say that.
Best friends turned against each other by jealousy and greed.
You remember when they tried to do that little DX reunion and Triple H pedigreed him on his face?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they did an angle where somebody attacked Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And it was Triple H.
Yeah.
And they had some they had some classic matches like Hell in a Cell, SummerSlam. I think it was Armageddon, because they did that spot where Shawn was trying to climb up for the belt, and Triple H tipped the ladder over and he went through all those tables.
Yeah, and of course they took part in WrestleMania 20.
Yeah, in that classic triple threat with another person who we won't mention.
Classic but bittersweet.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Gargano Ciampa. They have just beaten the hell out of each other. Johnny even pushed the limits of his humanity. Ciampa pushed the limits of his pride by asking for mercy from Johnny Boy.
Mm-hmm.
They've destroyed each other, played mental warfare with each other. It's been chaotic.
Yes. Then we have Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. The Man. You have the Queen versus the Man. I mean, you look at their match. We keep talking about their match at Evolution. These two tore it up at Evolution in that, what was that match?
Last
Woman Standing match. And these two have just been in the title picture ever since.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you could compare this feud with any feud back in the day, I'd say Flair versus Rhodes.
Definitely.
Because, I mean, these two were at each other's throats for the world title back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Then we also have Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler, which,
I'll say this. I'm not too keen on the whole back and forth stuff, because you know my feelings about how they did the back and forth with Charlotte and Sasha.
Hot potato.
Yeah.
I feel like if the context is right for it, then yes, it works. Like Charlotte, Sasha, because they just kept upping the game.
Yeah, it was a good feud, but I kept getting tired of hot potato stuff. But Kyrie Sane and Shayna Baszler, they had a really good feud. Um, Shayna Baszler defeated Kyrie Sane at Evolution to become the first ever two-time NXT Women's Champion. So they've had a little back and forth. Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. How can we not mention their match at Wrestle Kingdom 12?
Oh, it's just that stole the show.
That was like the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania 25.
Oh yeah.
And even at 26. And for that match to close out the show that year, that was pretty incredible.
Now the big contractor for this feud is the blow off was on the Jericho Cruise.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it.
We didn't get to see it. So major points deducted right there.
Kyrie Sane, Shayna Baszler, what's your big knock on that?
God, I just keep jumping back to Takeover before SummerSlam. Takeover War Games.
Mm-hmm.
Because only thing I keep remembering about that rivalry, other than the fact that they piggybacked off the Mae Young Classic from previous year,
Yeah.
was Jessamine Duke eating that boot.
In slow motion.
Yeah, tasting that soul.
Oh my God. It looked so much better in slow motion.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, good feud, but my thing is, Charlotte has constantly been in the title picture, and it's basically like nobody else has a chance to shine. When somebody gets a title shot, they have to add Charlotte.
It's because Vince prefers blondes.
It's not that. It's not just that. It's just.
I mean, 50% of the time, that is the only reason.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just too much of Charlotte in the title picture.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great showing for Becky. We got heel Becky for the little bit that we had.
Yeah. Or Gargano or Ciampa, I felt like they were going to drag this out for too long, but they ended up doing a really good job with this feud.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to be my feud of the year.
Seconded.
Yeah. So Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, 3-count feud of the year. Now, the last two categories, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, two.
Yeah, last two categories are match and superstar of the year, if I can turn the page. Yeah, match and superstar of the year. Matches of the year, there have been some incredible matches across the board. Honorable mention definitely goes to the War Games match.
Yeah.
I definitely had to put that as honorable mention. But nominees go, of course, to Omega versus Alpha from Wrestle Kingdom 12 for the U.S. title. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, last woman standing at Evolution. Gargano Almas at TakeOver Phoenix for the NXT Championship. And
Omega Okada at Dominion.
Where Kenny Omega finally, after a year and a half plus.
After 3 tries.
Yeah. I mean, this was their 4th encounter, and he finally got the belt. So, Omega, Jericho, that was the show stealer at Wrestle Kingdom last year in 2018. Oh, yeah. I mean, just the hype, the build around that match, the match itself, that match was turned up for sure.
And it was the return of heel Jericho. Like, he was heel cranked all the way up to 20.
Yeah, and every chance he got, he was going to make a statement towards Kenny Omega by attacking him from behind, playing mind games, so on and so forth. So this was a really good feud.
Becky versus Charlotte at Evolution.
What more can we say? That women's title, last woman standing match. One of the greatest matches of the modern era.
And
period.
It should have closed out the show.
Yes. Gargano Almas.
The first 5-star match in 7 years.
That match was just like balls to the wall, insane.
Fire.
And then Omega Okada. Like I mentioned, if you go back to Wrestle Kingdom 11, where these two first faced off, um, they had that classic 46-minute match. Of course, Okada retained the title. Dominion, later that year, the infamous 60-minute draw. I was glued to my screen when I watched on my computer like, this shit is one of the best matches in the last 15 years.
Then the G1 Climax later that year where Kenny Omega finally got the best of Okada.
Yes, non-title match. He finally hit that one-winged angel. And then Dominion 2018, he finally conquered the Rainmaker. After 700 plus days, Kenny Omega finally dethroned Okada to become the world champion. Now,
in a 2 out of 3 falls, no time limit match.
jeez Louise. A lot of people say out of the 4 matches they had in that trilogy, that was the best one. That even topped their Dominion 2017 match.
I'd say the order should go that one, Dominion, G1 Climax, and
Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Wrestle Kingdom.
If I would rank it, I'd say Dominion 2018, Dominion 2017, Wrestle Kingdom 11, and then the G1.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of people say Omega's title run wasn't as great. I mean, I really wasn't expecting a great title run. Well, in a way I was, but, you know, I'd say he had a subpar title run. It wasn't a shitty title run, though.
It wasn't Jinder Mahal levels of title run, but...
Yeah. Because Omega held the title for almost 7 months.
Yeah.
So, anyway, who do you give match of the year to?
Okay, Omega Jericho, any detractors from it?
Not that I could think of. No.
Okay, there's... Oh, okay, no, this match is here. I was about to say feud of the year, but no. Yeah, I can't think of anything against it. Becky versus Charlotte Evolution.
I would say... No, I really can't find any... Because that match was just fucking incredible.
I mean, I got 2 things against it.
Well, one, it should have main evented Evolution.
That's one of them. The other one was, there was a couple of shoddy calls by the ref. One I can remember was where Charlotte buried Becky underneath of furniture and a stage crew, and the referee just stopped counting.
Yeah, I remember that.
So,
yeah.
those take away from it.
Or Gargano Almas, what are your takeaways from that? What are your cons from that?
I can't think of any because, you know, that was where we saw Candice LeRae come out there and chase off Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
That's where Ciampa came back and buried his crutch in Johnny's back.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
And not to mention, 5-star in 7 years.
Yeah. Okada Omega, as I mentioned, Omega finally getting the belt.
They had all the callbacks to their previous matches.
Yeah, and I really like how they spaced it out. That's the thing about New Japan. I like how they sort of space things out depending on the situation.
What do you mean by spaced out?
Like, it wasn't just, okay, for example, Wrestle Kingdom 11. Kenny Omega won a G1. He challenged for the title. It wasn't like, okay, next pay-per-view, you're going to get a match. Or
like WWE does.
Yeah, like WWE does. It's like they don't drag it out. They kind of space it out because Kenny had other things going on outside of his Okada feud.
Yeah, they take time to build it. Okay, yeah, I get you now.
It's kind of like they take time with it, they let it cool down, and then pick it back up. So,
you know what? Screw it. Co-match of the year.
Becky versus Charlotte and Omega.
Oh, no. Gargano, Almas, and Omega Okada.
Okay.
Because I can't see anything wrong in both of those matches.
No. And they told awesome stories.
Yeah.
So, Omega versus Okada and Gargano versus Almas, co-feud of the year.
Now, on this list, the the two matches we had that we trimmed out was the North American ladder match from Takeover Philly, New Orleans,
Yeah.
and then Cody versus Nick Aldis from All In.
Yeah, this was for the NWA World Title, and as I mentioned, Cody and his dad, the late great Dusty Rhodes, became the first ever father-son duo to win the title, and that also told a pretty good match. Of course, the six-man ladder match was the one that kicked off the Takeover show in New Orleans. So
It was hard to cut those, but
and there were a lot of great other matches elsewhere, but I didn't want to oversaturate the categories.
yeah. So
And some of these matches I literally forgot about.
oh yeah, like that Gauntlet match from Raw.
That was incredible. I'm like, how the fuck could I forget that?
All right. Speaking of Gauntlet match, our final category is Superstar of the Year. You know, across both genders.
Yeah.
We've got Mustafa Ali, the former heart of 205 Live, Mr. Monday Night Grand Slam Seth Rollins, the man, and the god of professional wrestling, Tommaso Ciampa.
Also, the greatest sports entertainer of all time.
Oh yeah.
With honorable mentions of the cleaner, Kenny Omega, and Charlotte Flair. Now, when I made this category, I wanted to make it an even playing field because, of course, women's wrestling is really dominating right now, so you had to add them in.
Yeah. Mustafa Ali put on a hell of a match. Granted, it was the pre-show. Put on a hell of a match against Cedric Alexander.
Yes.
Put on fantastic performances all throughout 205 Live, including his street fight against Hideo Itami.
Yeah, where he, before he hit his finisher, he looked at him and told him, "I've always respected you," and he went straight through that table. He had a pretty good match against Buddy Murphy at Survivor Series.
He recently debuted on SmackDown, put on phenomenal matches against Almas and Daniel Bryan.
He even pinned the champion in a tag team match.
He even had a spectacular showing in that Fatal 5-Way.
Yes, he did, despite losing.
Yeah.
So he's had a pretty great year. So 2019 is looking pretty up, if you will.
Then we got
from Mustafa Ali,
Yeah.
and then Seth Rollins.
Then we got Grand Slam Rollins, who picked up the IC title at WrestleMania. Actually, before that, the Gauntlet match, where he lasted there over an hour, beating John Cena, Roman Reigns. I feel like somebody else was there.
What, Kevin Owens in there?
No, it was to enter Elimination Chamber last.
I can't remember. I know Reigns, Rollins, and Cena were in that match.
Along with Miz, Elias, and Braun Strowman.
I think so.
Okay, I think he just beat Cena and Reigns. Anyway,
Yeah,
he went in there for over an hour. He broke a long-standing record. IC champion, former tag team champion with Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, I mean, even though he had a shitty feud with Dean Ambrose, he had one hell of a year. I mean, Seth Rollins, he's one of the superstars that could potentially win this year's Royal Rumble and maybe go on to face Brock at WrestleMania. It's a lot of rumors, speculation on who's going to face Brock, who's going to win the Royal Rumble, so on and so forth.
Kenny Omega. Anyway, of course, the man.
The man, I mean, what else can I say about the man? She's been the man in 2018, the hottest commodity in professional wrestling. Not just women's wise, but throughout the whole world of professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah. And then we have the god of professional wrestling / sports entertainer of all time, Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, in less than a year, this man became NXT champion. This guy has really turned his character up like 20 notches. And, you know, he calls the championship Goldie, and he has just really
Ran with it.
He's really ran with it and ain't looked back. So,
yeah.
My takeaways, I'm going to start off with Seth Rollins. His feud with Dean Ambrose really blew it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had some good matches, but it was just his feud and the placement at TLC. So that's my detractor there. Mustafa Ali, I can't think of a negative with him.
They didn't make him champion.
Well, yeah, because he's had like what 2, 3.
At least 2 opportunities, but
Yeah.
they didn't make him champion. Besides that, he was on the pre-show to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on the pre-show to Survivor Series?
No, he was on the main card.
Okay, he's on the main card for that one.
He was on the. No, it was Cedric.
No, it was pre. Okay, yeah, that was Cedric pre-show for TLC.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tommaso Ciampa, I can't think of anything bad against him.
Like I said, this dude has really just ran with it. He's really. It's like they glued the rocket to him and just stuck him on the moon and told him don't come back.
The man.
It's the man.
I guess my only detraction is she didn't fulfill the purpose WWE wanted when they turned her heel.
Yeah, because they tried really hard to get her booed.
Yeah.
And people have been riding that Becky Lynch wave for a long time, even when she was a face.
So, that's my only argument against Becky Lynch.
So, in the end, Tommaso Ciampa wins.
Tommaso Ciampa wins.
So, there you go. He is our superstar of the year. And congratulations to everybody who has won the first ever 3-count year in awards in their respective categories.
Now, next year we're going to zhuzh it up a bit.
Yeah, we're going to.
Because I want to make the criteria for Superstar of the Year fit something else.
Yeah.
And that'd be just character work.
Yeah.
And if we did it with that format, there's only one person I'd have to give it to for this year.
Who's that?
Kazuchika Okada.
Yes.
Because, and this is my argument, he started the year as the Golden Child, the Rainmaker. You know, golden hair, flashy robes, flashy tights.
Yeah, that's pretty much the moniker of the Rainmaker.
Yeah. And post-Dominion, he had plain gear, pink hair. He was just on vacation. He was the busted shell of the former Rainmaker.
Yeah, walking around with balloons.
Just, I'm here, whatever.
Yeah, basically trying to find himself again. And then Wrestle Kingdom, he took on Jay White, and he came out. The Rainmaker was back.
He made it rain.
He took off his gear. He had the signature shorts, and we were like, yeah, he's back.
He was back to play.
Yeah. Even though he lost, he had a pretty good showing against Jay White.
Oh, yeah. But yes, congratulations to all the winners. Nominees, you can only go up from there.
Yeah. So, like I said, 2019 as a whole is looking pretty, as we say, lit for the world of professional wrestling. So, we're almost done with January. We'll see where February and beyond goes.
Yeah. So that being said, I am War Machine MJ.
I'm Dicky.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bam.